Sara here from Highland Haven Australian Shepherds and Highland Haven Dog Training, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 4 of Dog for Thought. Joining me is my co-host, daughter, and dog trainer extraordinaire, Sophie. Hey, Soph.
Hi, everyone.
And also our special guest star today, Miss Gianna Acasella.
Hello.
Who, for those of you who don't know, Gianna is the guardian of Evie, our guardian dog, our female who just had puppies. Who doesn't live with us. She is my dog, but she lives with Gianna for this temporary period of time while she's at breeding age. When she's done breeding, then I will sign the paperwork over to Gianna and she'll live out her life with her. In the meantime, Gianna has been a very good guardian for Evie, and we thought we would talk today about our experience over the last 36 hours. Mm-hmm. So you want to give a summary of what's been going on? The background?
Me or Gianna?
Well, just what we've been doing.
Okay. So she ended up having the puppies a week early, which was kind of crazy. So we had the x-ray on Friday, and then the next day, she had puppies that night at midnight. She started popping out.
12:30 or something.
Yeah,
like
she
that.
started popping out puppies. And we were not, luckily we just finished the whelping room. The day before the x-ray, we built the box, and then you went in there and put all the flooring and all the equipment that we need. Not just kind of being cautious, thinking that she would have them early, but maybe today, tomorrow, not Saturday. Because they usually have them relatively early. And
Right.
she was
so
ready to pop.
A dog is pregnant for 63 days, right? But that is marked from ovulation, not from breeding. So it's always plus or minus a couple of days, usually minus a couple of days. Usually, rule of thumb is you start the clock, the countdown days from the middle day from the two breedings. Generally, you'll breed your bitch twice. So for Evie, we bred her on a Friday and a Sunday. So I made her due date from that day in between, from that Saturday. She had them a full week early, which is unusual. Mm-hmm. We don't normally have them a full week ahead of time, although Twiggy was almost a week premature as well.
Yeah,
well,
she was.
Not premature, early. We don't think either litter was premature because all of the puppies are fully developed and do not look like preemies in any way, shape, or form. And when you're talking about only a 9-week pregnancy, if you are truly a week premature, that's really going to show up in the appearance and development of the puppies, because that's almost 1/10 of the entire, that would be equivalent to a whole month early for a human baby, which you're going to, see the difference in size and development. So we don't think either of those litters, this litter or Twiggy's litter, were premature, but a week before we had expected them.
Yeah, and we kind of summed it up to they probably ovulate sooner than what the average is, which is day 14. They probably started ovulating a bit earlier, so we bred them in between, and then we kind of got the tail end of the cycle. So everything kind of was kick-started. I feel like that's what we kind of decided.
First of all, you don't breed them when they ovulate. It's different than humans.
You breed them before.
No, you breed them after, so 2 days after. So once a dog ovulates, it takes 48 hours for the eggs to mature and be fertilizable. Okay, which is different than humans, because once you ovulate as a human, you're ready for conception to occur, right? Mm-hmm. So, and we couldn't be a week off of our time, because the eggs only last 2 days. They're only viable for fertilization for 2 days once they become ripe. Whereas the sperm will last 7 days in utero. So it's best that you breed a little early if you're concerned, because the sperm will last a long time. They live a long time in the body of the mother. So this way, when the eggs are released and become, fertilizable, the sperm is sort of waiting around going, "Where have you been? We've been here for 2 days or 4 days or 5 days or whatever." So, when in doubt, breed a little bit early. That being said, if she's not fully ready, your male is going to go, I'll hop up on there, but I'm not going to be super enthusiastic. So you can get the progesterone testing, the blood testing, But it's very expensive. Only very few vets do it. And because they almost always send it out, very, very few vets in this area have an in-house progesterone testing machine. They send it out. Of course, sending blood out takes a day. So if they're ready to go yesterday, it might have been the tail end, and now it's a day later, and now they're not, breedable, right? So we don't do that. Some breeders who breed a lot have their own progesterone machine, and just test the dogs periodically, in their breeding program, so that they can get that timing, particularly if they're doing in vitro, right? If they're doing artificial insemination, where they're importing sperm, thawing it, and then doing a surgical implantation or whatnot. So, well, that's very technical. We just sort of let the male tell us. And for Evie, we brought her, I think, I feel like we brought her Tuesday, the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And both of them were beginners. So neither of them really knew what they were doing.
But they didn't
latch
that day.
They did not tie that day. He
was
tried, but the two of them were like all over the place and didn't really know what they were doing. Although they were both interested, neither of them really had the technical skill at that point. So if you have a really experienced female who's ready to go, she's going to help the male, and vice versa. So we then waited 2 days, which is typical. If the male says she's not ready, then you wait 2 more days. That was the day after Thanksgiving, so the Friday. They tied that day, and then you wait 2 days after that, and they tied again on Sunday. You didn't come with me that last time.
No, just Friday.
Just
the 2 days after.
You didn't come with me the first time? No, you didn't, right? Because I sent you those videos.
No, I had work.
Right.
So I just dropped her off.
So, and then you just keep your fingers crossed, because you really have no idea whether this is even going to work. Which is part of the reason we didn't set up the whelping room until... I don't like to set up the whelping room, like truly set it up, until after we have the x-ray and we're sure that she's pregnant. Because it's like...
Well, now it's permanent, though. Well, except for the box itself.
Right. Yeah, so it's pretty much set up now. We won't take down a lot of it between this one and the next one. I thought I had everything in place. There was a couple of things that I was missing, but I was like, oh, this was right after we came home from the x-ray, but I was like, oh, well, we got loads of time. And then I was on the phone with you all day Saturday. We were texting back and forth. You were giving me her temperature. My plan was, as soon as her temperature dropped below 99, which would be impending labor in the following 24 hours, I was like, you can bring her up, rather than have her come here and stay here for a week.
I didn't know that Journey's temperature never dropped.
No?
No.
I never.
That would have made me a lot more paranoid than I was.
Gee, I wonder why I didn't tell you that then. I was not really concerned, because I figured she would show some signs of impending whelping, right? So you were texting me throughout the day Saturday, like her temperature's hovering at like 99.5, which is, I expected it to drop or go back up. And every time I was like, well, let's see what the next temperature is.
And I took it an extra time before.
Yeah, so I knew you would take it obsessively all day, which I would have.
I was trying not to so bad.
I know, but I
only took it one extra time.
No, I do it the same thing, because you're so eager, and in this case you're eager and also like concerned, because you don't want her. You're 45 minutes away from me, so it's not like you're down the street.
Yeah.
And it's not even like a good drive, 45. It's not like a straight shot. It's like...
It's a miserable drive.
It's a miserable drive from your house to here.
It is. A lot of highways, the pain in the butt.
And then we have no street lights over here anymore. So it's like... Yeah. And, your track record isn't the greatest, so...
Oh, we don't have to talk about that on here. So.
This is not Pick on Gianna episode. So I was out to dinner on Saturday night with Gary, and you were texting me, still telling me. Well, yeah, that's okay. It's fine. And then I came home, and you texted me again, or I guess maybe I called you at that point. Did I call you?
Yeah, I think I called you. Me after the last temperature I took,
which was still 99.
Right.
So it had been 99 all day.
That must have been like 9:30, because that's when we go to bed.
Right. And then you told me she hadn't eaten all day. Well, you told me that earlier in the day, but you said she still hadn't eaten.
Which is normal for her, but she would at least eat her dinner.
Right, which she didn't. So that's a red flag.
Yeah.
And then you told me that she came upstairs or went upstairs
by
on her
herself
own
to her bed
and got in her dog bed.
And she
by herself.
has done that before, but it's not like something she does like regularly.
So combining the fact that her temperature has hovered around 99, the history of her mom's temperature, and me never catching her mom's temperature dropping, the fact that she hadn't eaten all day, wasn't interested in food, and the fact that she could have been nesting, right, going up into a quiet room by herself. All of those things, I was like, okay, maybe you probably should bring her up. Had you pushed back on that, I probably would not have forced the issue, because I really didn't think that it was impending.
I was hoping you would tell me to come. I didn't want to ask, can I just come?
Well, I certainly didn't mind you here. I just didn't want you to be here for 6 days with nothing going on, you know, because you live far away and you have a life.
Right.
You know, and I know you want your dog. So I was trying to do it really as close to reasonably possible. I did not intend to cut it this close. That was not my intention.
2 hours close.
Right.
Not even.
So that was about 9:30-ish, 10 o'clock.
I left around 10 and I got here at 11.
Yeah, so she got here at 11, then we went downstairs. I set you up in the downstairs. There's a bed and everything. Made sure you have clean towel and all the stuff you need. And I said goodnight. And I left the camera on the whelping box, but I didn't have it on next to my bed. But I thought maybe I should put a camera on the room in general, but then I thought it might be creepy, you sleeping and me like watching you sleep.
I kind of wish you put it in to see my whole reaction.
That would have been awesome to catch that on film. So now it is 12:30. I'm upstairs sleeping. You're in your room sleeping.
I just got home.
Your room. Oh, you just got home. So you weren't sleeping, but you were in your room.
No, I was sleeping, but literally I got home and then you told me that Gianna's coming. And I was like, really, why? And then you explained the whole story and I was like, oh, okay. And so I just went up to my room and was sleeping.
And your dad, of course, had been sleeping for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
Because it was 12:30. And Jacob happened to be doing second dinner. Jacob does what we call second dinner. He is not an early morning person. He's a night owl. So he eats regular dinner with us usually, and then he does something that we call second dinner, which usually around midnight?
Yeah.
He will go downstairs, midnight, 1 a.m. It doesn't matter what day of the week, and he'll have an entire meal. We call that second dinner. So Brianna was still here, yes? Mm-hmm. And you were in the kitchen eating?
We were about to go upstairs. We had just finished cleaning up and we were walking past the door to go upstairs.
So you guys came home and ate?
We were upstairs. We came downstairs.
To eat.
Yes.
And
thank God.
Gianna opened the door.
I heard, Sara!
I didn't open the door. I was at the bottom of the stairs and I called out for you and he came down the stairs.
All right, so
Explain.
Go ahead. Now start from where you are. So now everybody knows where everybody is in the house. It's now 12:30 in the dark in the whelping room.
Yeah, we were back and forth. I ended up on the floor at some point laying with her, and then we were back in the bed, and not 5 minutes later, she licks herself a lot, like, during her pregnancy. So I thought it was normal, so I turned around to tell her to stop licking. And there's a puppy, like, next to her butt. She didn't move. She didn't jump or anything. My heart dropped. I jumped out of the bed. I went to run out, but then I was like, no, I got to get the puppy. I got the puppy, which was on my phone. And I brought the puppy over to the little box you guys have. And then I ripped the sack open. I did the thing. I was like going back and forth because I didn't know if that's what you guys do. And then I tried to get my phone to call you, but there was blood all over it, so it wasn't working.
She had the puppy on your phone, which is insane.
And she sat in the bed this whole time while I grabbed the puppy and I brought her over. I was trying to get my phone to work with the blood all over it to call you.
To call me, right? Because I'm now 2 flights above you.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it was doing that thing where, like, it says it's calling you, but it's not ringing or anything. Mm-hmm. So then after, like, 6 times, I tried to call her. 6 times within, like, the span of 30 seconds. And then I gave up and I went out to the hall where the stairs are. And I called for you. And then he came running down. And I said that she was having a puppy. I went back in the room because he went to go get you. And when I went back in the room, there was another puppy on the bed.
Oh my God.
And then she's doing circles. There's blood everywhere.
There was blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Because it's dripping out of her. And she's following me like, where are we going? Where are you going? She didn't have the third one till you guys were in the room, but...
Yeah, that was crazy. So then Jacob comes upstairs. Did you go down and assist her?
Yeah, just to make sure, like, everyone was...
So there were 2 puppies when you were down there.
I came back... Yeah, I came back down just to make
Now
sure.
I can remember that span of time between when I told him and when you came down.
So you went upstairs first to get me?
I went upstairs first, but
Yeah,
'cause
to
it
get
took
you.
a little bit to get down.
Yeah, because I had to like get my clothes on
And he came and then you
I came
came.
back down, yeah.
I was like, well, how serious could it be? So I just literally had fireman pants on the floor next to my bed. So I just stepped into my pajama bottoms and pulled them on, my sweats, and went downstairs. And as I'm walking downstairs, there's like blood all over the stairs. It looked like a fucking crime scene.
It really did.
And then I opened the whelping room door, and there's like blood spatter everywhere. It was an episode of Dexter. There's a placenta on the floor.
Was there?
Yes. And I think she was in the whelping box at that time.
Well, after you said she needs to be in the box, I was like, oh right, I'm gonna put her in there. And then
Yeah,
she had
'cause
another puppy.
I'm literally focusing on, because I knew the puppies were fine. I'm looking at my brand new mattress going, she just freaking had a puppy on my brand new mattress. But fortunately, I was smart enough to put a waterproof cover on it for that very reason. So the mattress wasn't damaged at all. Thank God. And then I guess we just started doing triage, cleaning up the puppies. And
Oh yeah, and then she had a third one.
well, third one was, I think, already there. Or I think the third one might have been there before I even got
The third
there.
one came, I think, when you came down.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like while, yeah, like
So it was like 3 in a row, which
Yeah.
is so funny because our track record is it's usually 2 in a row and then an hour and then 2 more in an hour and 2 more. About.
she had all 4 like in an hour.
Yeah, she had them really fast.
And then
she was just like
it spread out with the time after the 4th one, I think.
So our experience with the handful of bitches that we've bred over the years is that, first of all, that pre-labor, right, stage 1 of labor, where they're dilating, right, it can last like 24 hours. Like usually you're up all night with a bitch, and she is just wandering around and whining and shaking and can't settle down. And at that point you're trying to figure out when is active labor start, like when am I going to know? And even though you do it over and over again, it's like active labor, you know it when you see it, but you can't describe it. So that's what I expected. That's the worst part, by the way. So although this was very dramatic and fortunately everything turned out fine, it's the best case scenario because you don't have to go through that sleepless night of no puppies.
Afterwards, now, like, if you guys didn't tell me like your assumptions on like how she would act right before, like, be screaming when the first puppy's about to come out, or like you told me that it's gonna be like hours where they're just anticipating. So I expected that. That's why I didn't think she was going into labor. But I would have known, because she hid under the table. She wouldn't like lay down. She would only lay on the floor. Then she would go back up. Like, that's not
Right.
normal.
So now you know. Right. So that's something that you can
I just like,
identify.
since you guys
Sure.
had told me that, I just assumed that was the pending part,
Right.
the anticipation.
and it's hard because each female's different. And so you can't even compare them to like their mothers because
Although some of
ours haven't. So like Remy she would pace and whine and pace and whine, and it took forever. It was like 12 hours, and then she would finally have a puppy. And then Meadow was the same way. Meadow was
intense.
so much more intense. She was, I felt like it was like more than 12 hours with Meadow. Meadow, I felt like took forever.
Yeah, like-
and then when the first puppy came out, she screamed, which is normal. And Remy did too. And then when we had Vivian was such an expert at this point. It was like, it took a while, but I think it was
She still
5
had-
hours.
Yeah, she still had that pre-labor, very long span of time.
But it wasn't as pacey and dramatic.
Now, and once the puppy started to arrive, she was very typical in that she was doing a lot of shaking and panting, pain response, right?
Yeah.
But delivering puppies was really not dramatic with her.
No.
It was very dramatic with Meadow because Meadow's a dramatic dog.
Yeah. And then Twiggy was similar to her mother, but she also threw me for a whirlwind too because she wasn't really supposed to go into labor right away either. I was expecting like 12 hours and it was like 4 hours and then she had puppies.
Right, and you just sort of took her down into the whelping
Just because
room
it made
just
me feel
because, right.
comfortable. And then I took her down there and like an hour later she had puppies popping out. And once again, I'm trying to call you. My phone's not working because your phone never works when you need it to work. And then you came running down too.
Right. And then, but part of the reason I thought that Evie should come up is because I knew that Journey's temperature never plummeted the way it's more typical and the way we'd experienced it before. So Journey was another one. We were literally having dinner and she was laying in her dog bed and panting, but it was the middle of summer. So I was like, that's interesting that she's panting.
And then her water broke, right? And then you ran
so I
her
was
downstairs.
Like, maybe I should bring her downstairs. And so we brought her downstairs, and I think she had a puppy a half an hour later.
Yeah,
it was like,
crazy.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
So I had that in mind with Evie. Of course, that being said, with every new female, it's a learning curve because everyone's unique. So she had her 3 puppies. The room stayed a mess for a while. And then I don't remember how long it was between the 3rd and the 4th puppy, but a reasonable amount of time.
I think it was only like 15 minutes, if that.
It was short.
It was after the 4th one that it was like, how many did she had 7?
She had 7.
It must have been at least a half an hour between each for the others.
It's funny that the late puppies in most deliveries will be very undramatic because at that point the female is focused on other things, and those first puppies have sort of cleared the path, and it's sometimes they can literally just like have a hiccup and a puppy's born. That was Evie right from the beginning.
Yeah, it was like
she didn't. Well, she did push. If you paid close attention, you could see her pushing, in between puppies, moving them down the uterine horn. And then I guess the 4th puppy she would push and it would go back, and it played peekaboo for a little bit.
Then she had the 2 after. They just fell out.
Another thing I forgot to mention, when she had the first one, it was pitch black. So at first I didn't really see it. And then I didn't know where the light was. So that was another thing. I almost tripped over her getting out of the bed.
Yeah, I would have loved to see that on video.
Right. That would have been great to have on video.
And then I think after you got down there, you called me and you were just like, just so you know, she has 3 puppies right now. And I was like, no way. And you're like, yeah, if you want to come downstairs, you can. And I was like, okay, cool. So I came downstairs and I got down there and it was like a murder scene. It was just like blood everywhere. And then you look at me and you're like, we don't have the clamps. Where are they? So then I had to run back upstairs and get the clamps. And then we came downstairs.
It's called a hemostat, right?
Yeah.
It's like a little, what you do is you use it to crush the umbilical cord, because normally mama would crush it with her teeth. And that the umbilical cord is designed to be crushed, not cut. So if you crush it, it won't leak. It will seal up.
So that first one that came out of her, she must have licked it off.
She probably ate the sac.
Yeah, before I was...
Right.
So
So
I don't remember.
that's how they would normally do it, right? They would eat the umbilical, the placenta, and then get to the cord and then chomp, chomp, chomp to separate it with their molars, which would then seal off the whatever.
Umbilical cord.
Thank you, umbilical cord. So then you ran around the house looking for the hemostats.
Yeah, I was just throwing stuff
Again, I thought I had a week to find them.
Yeah. And so then I found them and then we came downstairs and then by the time I got down there, she was having another puppy. I was like, damn.
Yeah, and interesting, we did not know that she was red factored. So in order for a black Australian Shepherd to have red tries or red merle, well, let's just talk about red tries. The male has to be red and she has to carry red. So because it's recessive. So even if a black dog breeds with a red dog, doesn't mean she can produce red dogs. She also has to have carry red, right? In order to have merle puppies, one of them has to be merle. Merle is a dominant gene. So we knew the stud is a red merle. So in theory, with a black tri, which is what Evie is, you could have all four colors, traditional colors, right? The red tri, the black tri, the red merle, and the blue merle. So we knew we would have some merles. Statistics told us we would have some merles, but I did not run colors on her because it's not really necessary. So that was interesting because she's spitting out red puppies everywhere. So apparently Evie is red factored.
Which is awesome because...
Yeah, the first 3. The first one was a red tri, the second one was the red merle, and the third one was the Chico.
Red tri.
Yeah, it's funny, that's one of the first things I said about the puppies when we started cleaning them off when I first got in the room. Like, oh my God, is this a red puppy? I was really shocked.
Yeah.
Because they all look black when they come out because they're wet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, once things settled down, then I got the mop out and I cleaned up the murder scene, and then it was a much more typical delivery. But Evie was a total pro. She was very, very chill, which is so unusual because she's a young dog.
I thought she'd be like Meadow.
And she's quite immature emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought she'd be all over the place, but
dramatic, but she was super calm, cool, and collective, just like her mother.
yep,
So
a very natural
awesome.
mother. Not freaked out by the puppies. Sometimes the moms will, like sort of reject them for the first few minutes. Like, what the hell is that?
I mean, Meadow, for her first litter, we had to hold her down and put a puppy to suckle. So her hormones started kicking in because she just was so, like, she was like, what is this? Like, she had no idea that it was her puppy, which is not abnormal. So we were, she just has very natural instincts. And even when she's down there, like, we have the camera set up right here, and even if a puppy crawls away, she's not happy that the puppy's on the other side of the room, but she lets them cry and kind of figure out how to come back, which is not a natural thing. Some bitches need to learn, and some bitches have natural abilities to just lay there and know that eventually the puppy will come back. And she's very natural.
Right. Well, her mom is Journey, and Journey's a very good mother.
Yeah, I assumed she was going to be a good
Good mama.
Yeah, during the breeding because of Journey.
So the puppies at this stage are blind and deaf, right? Their eyes are sealed, their ears are sealed. So really they only have their sense of touch and scent, right? And their instinct when they get separated from their mother, their instinct is to crawl in circles. So if you see the videos that we'll post on YouTube of the puppies just sort of chilling in the box, if a puppy gets separated from her, they will crawl in ever larger circles, because eventually they will smell or hit mom, right? Run into mom's leg or smell her and then move towards it. A good mom will sort of stick her paw out as sort of a carrot, sort of, hello, I'm over here, or stick her nose out and just sort of nudge the puppy like this way, and then the puppy will sort of follow her back. Evie does that naturally, as did Journey. And Twiggy was a good mom too. She didn't enjoy it.
She didn't enjoy it. She was very anxious. Like, I think the first night I slept in the box with her. Well, like, I nodded off in the box with her because every time I would get out of the box, she would whine and like want to be in the box, but then want to be with me. So I was just like, I'll just be in the box with you. It's fine. And then she relaxed fine after that. But
yeah, so right now we have cameras on her, on Evie right now. I'm watching it on my iPad. You guys are watching it on
my phone,
Gianna's phone. But at this stage, the puppies are like 36 hours old. They can't be left alone. They have to be watched the whole time. I mean, you can leave them alone. People will be like, oh, that Mother Nature, take its course. Okay, well, that will end up with dead puppies, and I'm not willing to risk that. Puppies can get separated and accidentally rolled on or suffocated. All kinds of things can happen. So for the first 5 days, it's a 24-hour surveillance. So Gianna slept with Evie last night. How did that go?
Last night was good. Well, it was also Saturday night. Well, it was technically still Sunday, but...
Well, we started the puppy started being born at 12:30, right, and they finished at 4:30, so there was no night on Saturday, or period. Saturday to Sunday.
Sleep period. But yeah, last night was pretty good. I didn't intervene too much. She slept for most of it.
So you put the bed right next to her box so you could see her and she could see you.
Yes.
I had the camera on next to my bed so I could watch you guys. And every time I woke up, which is a lot, she was completely flat on her side, sound asleep. To one point, I think I told you that I thought, is she breathing?
She did try to get out a couple of times and like laid next to me, but I put her back in.
Yeah. And that's good for her. She wants to be with the puppies, but she's not obsessive with the puppies. Some moms can really be like, you have to like drag them out of the box to get them even to go to the bathroom outside.
Wasn't Journey like that?
It was Vivian. Vivian was really hard to take away from her puppies, and she did not like any other people. You were pretty much the sole person that could be in the box with her. I couldn't be in the box until they were 2 weeks old, and Dad and Jacob couldn't be in the box until they were like,
in the room.
No, she hated. But she has a different experience. Like, we didn't raise her, so she doesn't have all the handling. And even with all the handling, depending on bloodlines, I mean, other females could react the same way. But we really try to just respect their space and understand that these are natural instincts and not take anything personally. Like the video you posted with the food and you said, oh, hopefully she won't bite me. Those are very natural instincts to, if they're around food, especially high value food, like with eggs and stuff in it.
Well, all
they will
food is high
become
value
protective.
when you have puppies, right?
Yeah, it's an important resource. Even water can become an important resource for them. So you just have to be really mindful that these are all instincts. These are not personal, and she's just protecting her puppies.
Right, and don't put them in a situation where they feel they need to nip you or whatever, unless it's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
The reason I was able to be in the box with Vivi is fully 100% because of our relationship.
Yeah.
Just this goes back to last week's episode. It was relationship. You know, Vivi and I, when we first got Vivi, she was, I think, 3. She had a very checkered background. She had some shitty situations. So she was already pretty brittle in that way. And I did attachment parenting with her for 2 weeks, where she didn't leave my side for 2 weeks. And that was it for Vivi. She's my dog. I can do anything to that dog.
It's so funny because, like, when we run her in the woods, I wouldn't say that she has really good recall, but it's not a recall that we've trained into her. It's a relationship recall. Where like Deacon and Meadow have like perfect recall because we've trained them to have perfect recall. Vivian comes back because she chooses to come back because she has a good relationship with you.
Right.
But anybody else, she would not come back to you. She does not care. She will go over there and smell whatever.
She's like, I got this. I can be over here. I know
I'm
where you are.
independent. I'm not going to
fine.
bother anybody.
Right.
I'm going to do my
But
own
I'm going to
thing.
come back because you asked me to, because of our relationship, even
Yeah.
though I don't want to. That's a very good observation with her. She's very different that way.
Yeah.
She was a very good mom, but almost she overmothered the puppies a bit. She licked them a little bit too much and
Did too much with the umbilical cords, and she just did a lot, and it was a lot of us being like, okay, that's enough. Okay.
right. And remember, she only had 2 puppies and then 4 puppies, so it's easier on a mama like that to have 8 puppies because then she can't overfocus on just 2 puppies.
I don't remember seeing her pregnant. Was Cole and Twiggy, were they before her second litter?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were her
Who
first
was her
litter.
second litter?
The second litter was born on day before Thanksgiving.
They were like
There's 4 of them.
cranberry and
Nutmeg.
I don't think I
yeah,
must
pumpkin.
have not have been. No, I had to have been close to you guys because I took Cole in.
yeah.
I don't remember this.
It was like I felt we
I only remember Journey being pregnant.
bred her back to back, so
forgot.
I felt like we like and then I kept Twiggy, so I felt like a lot was going on, and we had Journey. We like just got Journey too.
Yeah, that I remember because
So-
she was coming to Dogtopia.
We had 2 puppies and we had Vivi with a litter downstairs, so it was a lot going on.
Yeah, they all blend into each other. Sophie's has a much better memory than me. I depend on Sophie to tell me who's related to who and all of that. So back to Evie. She is she's laying there right now with all the puppies by her. She's so good. So we have to be very careful of things like you saw earlier today, like when she suddenly starts to scratch up the mat because the puppies can get stuck, and suffocate under the mat. Scratching is a pain sign. It's a pain signal, so a pain response, I should say. So when she's scratching like that, just be aware of that. It's probably she's having contractions. So that's where it comes from.
Scratching what? The rug?
Yeah, digging for the mat.
Right.
Yeah.
So her uterus is still contracting to expel any fluid and blood and whatever is in there, and also just shrink back to its original size. And the uterine horn is teeny, tiny, and then it expands. Jacob can talk about this. Just expands to an enormous size to give birth to
A few
puppies.
days, like a week before this, that became like a behavior for her. Like not like with that, but her bed and
Scratching.
Yes.
Yes. So that was probably contractions. Probably Braxton Hicks, which aren't labor contractions, but definitely sort of the uterus getting ready to
Yep.
preparing for
Before
birth.
she was
And also them moving around could be painful as well. So she probably was like, oh,
So all bitches will scratch their kennels. It's also natural to sort of move the bedding around to make a nest. But we discourage that because we want it to be nice and flat so that the puppies aren't in any danger of suffocating. We also have in the whelping box the pig rail, which is not in there when we're delivering puppies because it's just a pain and it takes up room. But now that these tiny puppies are in there, we have the pig rail, which is a bar that goes around the edge of the kennel of the whelping box so that if she leans against the wall, which she's doing right now, and there happened to be a puppy between her and the wall, the pig rail would keep her from crushing that puppy. So we keep that in there for about 10 days. till the puppies are big enough and loud enough to protest when she lays on them, and then we can take that out. Aussies, by and large, are really good moms. They're good whelpers and they're good mothers.
They give natural, like labor. It's not like complicated labor.
Yes,
like other
good,
dogs.
They're good whelpers, right? They don't need a lot of interventions generally. Of course, complications can happen with any dog. I don't have the temperament to breed dogs that are notorious tough breeders who need C-sections regularly, or who are crappy moms. And there are certain breeds that are just not good moms. Like St. Bernards, you can't leave them alone with the puppies because they'll lay on them and crush them. Like they really have no sense of the puppies. So you really have to be really vigilant. And some dogs, like bulldogs, you take the puppies completely away from her and she only sees the puppies when it's time to nurse because they're just terrible moms.
Yeah, well, what was the one we were when we were do the puppy culture? What kind of dog? The terrier?
Bull terriers.
Bull terrier, yeah. That mother was terrible with those puppies. She did not want to be in the box with them. She didn't want to do anything to do with them. The owner would have to bring her into the box and lay her down and then latch all the puppies by hand to get them to nurse. I was like, oh, that sounds terrible. Sometimes you would have to bottle feed them, which like, oh, it's so fun to bottle feed them. No, it isn't. You have to wake up every 3 hours to bottle feed a little tiny baby. That's miserable for the humans.
And it's not natural for them, so they'll aspirate easily, and then they're prone to things like pneumonia, and they die very quickly. Or they eat too much, and then they get diarrhea or vomiting. It's just not. It's not easy to hand raise puppies. Mm-mm. They're very fragile, and it's exhausting. And then you of course have to stimulate them to poop and pee, which is the one thing that Evie's not terrific about. Mm-mm. But Journey wasn't either.
No.
She got better at it, but she would let Vivi come down and clean all the puppies. Vivi was perfectly happy. Vivi is a notorious poop eater anyway.
That's probably where she got all her poop eating from. To have all these puppies, you got to eat all the poop. Yeah. But she's so Vivi is very diligent and over parenter. Where like Remy's like a waspy mom and like they look very good. She keeps good eye on them, but then she wants to come right upstairs and she's like, okay, they're done, go away. We're like,
for sure.
Vivi's like all over them. Evie seems to be a very good parent, but like no one's perfect, and I don't mind cleaning some butts here and there, so it's not a big deal.
And Evie also has not had any diarrhea yet.
Yeah, which is crazy because her mother is like terrible. Afterwards, I always worried with Journey because she's so small, and then on top of it, she has not been eating them before she has puppies, and then she's just having diarrhea after diarrhea. And we use carrots to like supplement, these like dried carrots to supplement, so it helps to solid up her stool, that it's natural, so we don't have to like give her
if
medicine.
I can get her to eat it.
Yeah, but the problem is she doesn't eat, and then she just has diarrhea, and the first couple weeks are stressful.
They are. Well, there's a lot of cleaning involved in the first couple weeks for me because the mom needs a lot of care.
Mm-hmm. I mean, with Journey, we would keep paper on the outside of her whelping box because not all the time we can go down there and let her out when she has to go out. So she would just poop on the paper overnight, and then we would come in the morning and clean up all of her diarrhea.
It took 2 full weeks for her to sort of become housebroken again.
Yeah.
To the point where she didn't need to do that. So that's miserable for me and for Journey as well. She can't really enjoy that.
Yeah, she doesn't want
So I'm sort of prepared, ready for Evie to start having explosive diarrhea. But so far, she's been good.
Yeah. Also, since I'll be here, she probably won't have many accidents because she'll just whine and I'll take her out when I am sleeping here.
True.
Yeah.
Like
so what is your schedule of sleeping here going to be?
In my mind, I am saying maybe 3 days of the week, but I don't know how long I'll be able to go without seeing her. I don't know. I feel like I have to see her at least every other day.
Her, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Even if it's just for a visit, I don't think I could go a full day without more than a day. One full day.
She has the puppies, which are super cute.
Yeah.
So she ended up having 4 boys and 3 girls, right? 4 red tries.
3.
No, 3 red tries. 1 black try.
No. 2 red tries, 1 blue merle. Wait, Now I'm getting
No.
all confused.
We're just
So
talking
we
about
have
tries.
Three red tries,
three
one black
tries.
try,
Mm-hmm.
and then two
Right.
red merles and one
one
blue
blue
merle.
merle.
Yeah. So it's an interesting, it's like a little bit of everything, as opposed to her own litter, which was all girls.
Yeah, and I was super excited because we haven't had a rainbow litter in since
we
Meadow.
haven't had a red try in 5 years.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We haven't had a completed panel of puppies since Meadow, because Meadow is red and Ty's blue, and Ty's red factored and Meadow is blue factored.
Meadow is red.
Yeah, but she's red, but she has to carry black to be able. No.
No.
The
Black is
color
dominant.
always messes me up.
So a blue merle is black based.
Okay.
So it's dominant.
Ty carries the black.
So if you're black based, you can either have a blue merle or a black try that's dominant. So a black try will have black puppies in that litter. A blue merle can have black puppies and blue puppies, unless he is red factor, in which case he can produce all four, provided the female has the right mix.
Interesting. But yeah, we haven't had a full panel in forever.
So a dog, a stud, or a bitch who is say a blue merle but red factored is a valuable dog, because people want to produce litters that have a variety of colors so that they sell better, right? Because people want different colors. So people will advertise their stud, their blue merle stud is red factored or whatever, or their black tri stud is red factored.
And a clear panel.
Of course, a clear panel.
Yeah.
In this litter, both mom and dad have totally clear panels, except Evie carries one copy of the MDR1 gene, which is the gene that makes them sensitive to certain medicines. I don't find that a fault in the dog. I find that a fault in the medicine. So it's just something to be aware of. We try to inform our puppy buyers of that.
And the dad has blue eyes. And
Yeah, I always forget that.
yeah, so the dad has blue eyes, and Evie's mom has those crystal blue eyes as well. She doesn't have blue eyes, but she probably carries the blue eye gene since her mom has it.
Her siblings did too.
Yeah.
Had the blue eyes.
So
And I
she-
think even when she was a puppy for a short time, not that she does now, didn't she have two different color eyes? Or we thought she did?
Not her. It was
Madonna,
which is
who went
Nor
to-
now.
Who went to? Was it Nor?
Nor.
And then there was a totally blue one that went to Nantucket.
Yes.
That was Cher, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that to you yesterday. I was like, I keep forgetting he has blue eyes, which means, we get a reveal at some point when their eyes start to open.
I think
Sometimes we can tell.
a red tri with blue eyes is going to be beautiful.
Well, we have 4 red tries, right?
I hope Chico has blue eyes.
Three
Yeah, and
red.
that's the other interesting things, that the red tri, well, we have one black tri who's almost a solid black.
He has some
who-
brown.
He is a tri, but he's almost solid black.
Mm-hmm.
He has no coloring on his face. And he looks like a Roddy puppy, because he's got sort of brown on his legs. So we named him Roddy. And then one of the red tries is almost all brown.
All brown, pretty much all
they have
brown, except
white on their bellies.
and on the paws they have little slippers. And out of all 3 of them, only one of them has a stripe, right?
2 of them.
2 of them have.
The other 2.
I thought one just has kind of half, kind of like how she has the half, it doesn't complete.
No, I think Smokey and Boomer both have
Stripes.
white. Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, they do. You're right, because
Yeah.
they look very much alike.
that's why we have so much trouble telling them apart, because
Right.
they have the same exact.
And they were good
No.
size too.
Mhm.
They were ranged from almost a pound to about, I think the smallest puppy was 11 ounces.
Yeah.
So they were a nice size. Not too big, not too small. Remember the last litter, how enormous they
They're
were?
huge. But there's only 2 of them, so.
Yeah, they got
And-
too big.
And what was it? Clyde. He was so big that he couldn't walk. It was off
Yeah.
for the walking scale because
They both were weird about walking, weird about eating, remember? Because there was only 2 of them.
Yeah, so they
it
didn't
made
have competition,
Yeah.
and they were fat because they just ate everything. That boy could not walk. The little girl was running
That
around.
kind of stressed me out.
I was
actually.
like, this boy needs to start walking soon. He would
Yeah.
scoot around, pull himself around, and then all of a sudden he just started walking, and I was like, thank God.
And remember, they would not freaking eat solids.
That's
Yeah.
what I
Wouldn't.
remember.
God, that was a tough litter, which is ironic because it was just 2 of them.
Well, I guess that's why it was so frustrating. Is like we had to do all the work for like a big litter, but there was only 2 of them, and then on top of it, they wouldn't eat, and it's like we're doing extra work and you're not eating.
Yeah, and puppies, just like the mammalian brain is designed for struggle. It has to be exposed to struggle from the beginning for the correct wiring of the brain, which is why a litter of puppies is healthy for them, because the puppies are natural competition. Other puppies are crawling on top of you crawling on other puppies. You're fighting over certain milk stations that produce the best milk. And all of that struggle is sometimes hard to watch, but it helps to wire their brains correctly. And, we can talk about how, preventing struggle in dogs or humans, like being a bulldozer parent where you clear the path and they have no struggle, is not good for them. The mammalian brain needs to push against something in order to function correctly.
I mean, once they're walking and starting to socialize with each other, which is like 5 weeks, like 4 or 5 weeks, literally you'll see them like have little scuffles with one another. They'll just like get angry over one another and like grab one another, and you immediately, like instinctually as human, want to go in there and like separate them and be like, stop that, like just kind of like put them on other sides of the room. But it's really important for them to kind of have those social situations, so then it's so important for them to have those neural pathways kind of made, so then when they do go home, they kind of have an understanding of dog body language, which is why it's really important to keep them all the way to 8 weeks, so they have those social periods with their litter mates.
Yeah, which is why raising a singleton is so difficult.
Yeah.
Because they don't get the kind of socialization that they need from having litter mates around. Yeah. And to some extent, having just 2 of them was, like we say, was a little challenging as well.
But luckily we had Tula.
Yes, that's true. Tula did go down there and work on some social skills.
Yeah,
she was just a baby too.
Yeah,
she was a baby.
Journey was a baby, and she went down there with all the pups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she would watch Vivi nurse the puppies.
Yeah, that was cute, man.
That was really cute.
Yeah. She would like peek in.
Vivi was very good about that.
She was. And Vivian would take care of her as much as she took care of her puppies as well.
Yeah,
really
so
cool.
Our dogs are so interested in what's going on downstairs right now.
They knew when we got up and we were running around and stuff, and then when one of us came upstairs to grab something, they were like,
yeah, the sniffing.
Yeah, every time we come up, we like give them our hands, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, there's puppies down there. Yeah, especially Vivian.
Yeah, Vivi can't wait to be an auntie. She's the best babysitter.
She is. Sure. She loves them so much. Even Twiggy, Twiggy was staying in the whelping room up until we got the x-ray, and so then now she's in the kennel with we have a boarding dog right now, which is perfect timing. And I happened to I think I went into the whelping room. I took a couple puppy whiffs because I love the smell of the puppies, and then I went upstairs and changed my clothes to go do the morning shift, and Twiggy smelled my hands, and she was like licking my hands just like that mothering lick, and had her eyes closed, and was just like, oh, which is so funny because she didn't really like mothering, but it's that natural instinct kind of coming back up. She was all excited, and even Evie's going to the bathroom on the other side of the fence, she cannot stop smelling that side of the fence because she's like, I know something's going on. Yeah. So I'm like, come over here, because I'm always I don't want her to scare Evie if she has to go to the bathroom. So.
Yeah, and then when I change the puppy mats, I bring them upstairs to put them in the laundry. I leave them on the floor in the laundry room, and the whole pack will go in there and sniff around on the mat for, a good 4 or 5 minutes till they get their fill. It's good for them so that they're not freaked out when they eventually do sort of have to meet the puppies. I don't know. It's just good for them. It makes them feel happy. So
they love it. They love it. It's such a great experience to be able to give them. Who else can give their dog an experience like that?
For sure.
Who do you think is gonna be around the puppies once they're able to come outside?
Vivian.
And stuff?
Vivi will be the first one.
Yep. Vivian
Journey
will.
Or no?
Maybe.
Probably because it's her daughter. It'll be interesting. Certainly Tula will be interested, but Vivi will be the most excited about
and the most respectful.
With Evie out with them. Do you think she'd have a hard
she
time
will.
with that?
The first dog I would trust with Evie would be in the whelping room. Would be Vivi.
Yeah.
So Vivi will come in the whelping room, and then we'll just have to see what Evie's reaction is. if Evie comes roaring out of the whelping box.
I think Tula would scare her. And
Tula
then
will
she
probably
and then
leave
she'd
them
start-
outside.
Yeah, outside when they're like walking around and stuff in a fenced-in area.
But we'll see. I mean, as time goes on, you kind of make those judgments. You know, sometimes you think they're going to be great with the puppies and they're not. Sometimes you think they're going to be terrible and they're so sweet and helpful with the puppies. So Remy's in here with us, stretching. Yeah, so go ahead.
It's also really funny because the certain dogs you're like, okay, like I know you don't want to be around the puppies. Like Remy has no interest.
None.
At all. Like
And she had 4 litters.
She had 4 litters. I think the most litters we've had in the house. And she wants nothing to do. Anytime we bring the puppies out, she's like, put me inside. I don't want them smelling me or anything. Like she just wants nothing to do with them. Ruby, nothing to do with them. Ty likes to smell them and then he wants them to leave him alone. But of course, all of the puppies are obsessed with Ty because he just has the best energy. Deacon, on the other hand, wants to be around the puppies, but he has chaotic energy. So we're very mindful when we have Deacon around
because he
him.
can be dangerous.
contain himself sometimes.
He gets excited and then he just goes, ah. And so like Deacon is 50-50, like usually he's behind a gate or something where he can like smell them and lick them. But like, you know, Deacon's overly excited. Vivian's an angel. She's always auntie. She's always the first one in there.
Meadow thinks that they're full-grown dogs and plays with them like they're full-grown dogs.
Yeah, and
so
then
she could be dangerous with them too.
Yeah, she gets too excited. Probably not Twiggy. Twiggy, I don't think we'll introduce them to Twiggy because she's going to be too excited too. She's like her father.
She'll be outside when the puppies are outside with a gate, with a fence.
Yeah.
We set up a temporary fence. So she'll probably sniff them and then want to go play ball.
Yeah.
She's not really into it.
No, she's not really into it either.
So we'll see what Journey is like because this is the first litter for Journey as an adult that's not hers.
Yep.
So we'll see what she's like. And my guess is Tula's going to have a great time.
Yeah, I think Tula will be great.
She's such a dork.
Yeah. And maybe it will make her and Evie have a better relationship.
Well, they do like each other. They played. It's just that at first, initially, Tula kind of freaks out around Evie.
Tula does not like Evie's
So my
energy.
guess would be that if Evie's out with us, Tula will freak out at Evie, and then Evie will get scared about the dogs, and
we'll figure that out when it happens.
I think Evie's energy is very different than her natural energy. So Tula might not be so reactive and be like, calm down, you're crazy. Because Evie's not crazy.
So, at the moment.
At the moment.
We'll see how long that lasts. Hey, Rem. Remin coming in for a pet. Silly girl. So right now Evie is laying on her side and she has like perfect piglets. She's a big dog, so they really can fit in there nicely.
Yeah, no,
they don't have to double decker it.
one of the Merles must be under her.
They do like to double
on the back.
deck.
See on the back on her butt? There's one laying
Oh,
there.
there.
Funny.
Yeah, they're all of them are there.
So overall, she's been really easy. I mean, aside from the dramatic start, so far she's been great. And she seems to feel really well, which is always a relief.
We forgot to mention that I came downstairs and all I see is Gianna in the box with the 1,000-yard stare and blood on her face. She goes, "You wouldn't believe what happened." Which was exactly the face I thought was going to happen in the last podcast. So, just so you know.
I was just in shock because...
Yeah, you were in shock. You had the 1,000-yard stare.
But I don't think I would have... I think I was in shock because of the fact that 2 hours prior to that, she would have had them in the car. And that's what was running through my head at the time. Or if I had been there for like a day or two and then it happened, I would have been, I think, a little less like...
I think she would have had him in your room.
But this is the thing. You can go and say, well, it was just luck. It was just luck. It wasn't. It was based on knowledge that she was probably ready. So I just didn't want to drag you away from your home for days and days and days and have her linger. Plus, it was a full week. I mean, you only, I think, got 2 days of temperature checks.
And I was...
A lot of times, I don't do their temperature until 5 days before. In this case, I would have completely missed it.
I had a feeling. I was like, oh, this is going to be my last night to relax before. And then I was like, oh, we're going tonight. Never mind.
But luckily, she's pretty nice. Like, when you sleep down there, soon enough, you'll be able to sleep on the bed. And she'll just stay in the box. Which is so nice because...
She's always good.
And you have a nice bed down there. Me and Sara have to sleep on, like, this, like, messed up mattress.
What messed up?
The one you're sleeping on.
Yeah, I'm sleeping on it now.
I know, but like you have a bed down there. I don't know. I like that.
We
bed.
have that new mattress. We didn't have that in our old setup.
Right.
I would sleep on a couch or whatever.
You had that futon, which was hard as rock. That bed's nice. Once you settle in that bed, it's nice.
Fortunately, it's still nice. It doesn't have a giant blood stain on it.
If she had those puppies on her new bed at home that I just bought her, I would have lost it.
And that's probably she probably would have had the puppies at your house, and then your dad got that brand new white rug. Man, it would have been.
Well,
terrible.
no, if it was in my room, she wouldn't have. I wouldn't have.
Yeah, but then you would have been running
right.
out of the room, and
Okay,
she would have been following you.
I would have been driving down to New Rochelle
Yep.
like a bat out of hell.
Yep.
With Gianna on the phone. She's having the puppies.
And then
By the time you would have got there, she would have had 4 already.
It's true.
Yeah, it would have been crazy.
But you did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
You're a natural.
Thank you.
You're a dog midwife now. Congratulations.
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. Once you guys were there.
What part of it did you enjoy?
I don't know.
I mean, I like
just
the whole process.
Yeah. Everything, I guess.
I like when they
Just-
come out and they're in the sack, and then you gotta like rip the sack open.
That I don't like.
That's my favorite part.
I don't like the feeling of that.
It does feel nasty.
The first puppy I delivered on her, which I guess was maybe puppy 3 or puppy 4, had a double sack.
That's
Yeah,
what
that was
I'm
crazy.
pretty sure the first one did too, because I swear I was like pulling
crazy.
one and then pulling the
Yeah, then
until
pull-
it actually ripped open.
I think it's just everything is incredible. The placenta, the umbilical cord, and the placenta, and the sac, and the whole thing is just when they come out in a perfect, completely intact sac. Got a dog hair all over me. I love that. I just think you can see they're like floating in this little beautiful bubble.
And then they come out, and you're like, you don't even know what color they are. You just know if they're Tri or Merle. And then you're like ripping the sack open, and you're like, oh my God, it's a rat. And then the mom's licking, and you're trying to grab it. I just love it. I love it.
And we did let her eat. She probably ate 2 placentas.
Yeah.
Meadow would eat them, would obsessively eat them, and then vomit them up.
She would ignore the puppies and like be eating the sack, eating the placenta, and then she would vomit all this placenta up, and then I had to clean it up, and I was like, oh, this is so much worse than like any other thing that you could possibly
good that we
throw up.
started with those moms, because each mom that we've had after that has been less dramatic.
So much less.
So our baseline was a very dramatic delivery, very dramatic mother.
in general, yeah. I
With
was gonna
each
say.
mother that we have, they get chiller and chiller, which is interesting.
Well, I mean, also we're eventually going to talk is like with our breeding program. So maybe it also has to do with the type of
bitches that we
females.
select,
Yeah.
sure.
Which makes a big difference.
Yeah,
I thought she was going to be crazy, so I'm happy she's not. For your sake.
I knew.
she knew. Her mother knew
I
she'd
knew it
be
would
good.
be worse for me than her.
Well, and she's not even really bleeding a lot now either. But
Yeah.
neither did Journey. Journey was quite clean after.
She had like a couple spots.
Yeah, I think she's still peeing.
Oh yeah, she'll still
Yeah.
pee blood, and she'll still stain and drip for up to 3-4 weeks.
I
It
know,
goes
it's
on a
not
long
bad.
time.
But plus, it looks bad because there's snow outside, so you can see it. Usually, you can't see it. Like Journey, I didn't even know, and then her diarrhea was terrible. And so I had to go out there with a scooper.
Yeah, well, I was out there scooping today, and I didn't see anything, so it's amazing.
Yeah.
that Evie's doing so well.
Solid.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Anyway, so that was a fun couple of days here. We also banded the tails this morning, so they're all. Oh wait, we didn't mention that. Every single puppy was born with a natural bobtail.
Which is crazy because Evie does not. She has a full tail, which is why we picked her.
Right, and the dad obviously carries natural bobtail, but with that, statistics say 50% of them would have some sort of a bobtail, and the other 50% wouldn't. But in this case,
All of
every
them
single
did.
puppy was born with a varying length of a bobtail, which is some of them are really short, and some of them are like half tails, but nothing bigger than that, nothing longer than that.
It's crazy.
Which we've never had before. So that's interesting. Genetics are. Why are you up again? Go lay down. You're a good girl. Genetics are a crazy thing.
Yep.
So we'll see them as they grow, and we'll go up to start. They don't really turn into puppies for about 3 weeks.
Yeah, they're pretty boring. right now.
This is the boring stage and the stressful stage. The first 10 days once they're 10 days old, they become pretty hardy.
Well, once the tails are done and healed, then I feel better. I mean, every stage has like a different stress that you worry about, but like right now, it's the tails and making sure that they're nice and healthy and gaining weight consistently, and then the mama, of course.
The mama is doing well.
Yeah.
So by day 10, everybody kind of settles in. The puppies are hardy enough to turn off the external heat lamp. You can take the pig rail out, like I said before, and then they progressively get more fun with each day.
Yeah, but they smell the best now, so that's the.
They do smell good.
Yeah, they smell so good.
They should bottle it.
Yeah, they should. I would wear that perfume.
They're good babies.
Yeah.
All right. So are we forgetting anything?
No, I don't think so. You?
So it was nice to have Gianna spend that first night with them, because I came upstairs last night and I was knocked out.
Yeah, it's nice for it to be your dog. I don't worry about it. I just work and I'm just like, how's it going in there? It's good.
Well, Gianna will spend tonight. You're staying tonight?
Yes.
Or not? Yes.
Yep.
Aren't you working tomorrow? But not till
Yeah,
late?
but I'm gonna go home after work tomorrow, and then I'll come just to spend the night tomorrow.
All right.
Okay. Well, we got this big house. Might as well use it.
Yep.
We had a lot of people, a lot of dogs in the house the other night.
Yep.
All for the drama.
Yeah, but it was.
I had no idea you guys both were here and both had guests.
Yeah, we were both here. Well, you were here with Dad, and then Jacob and his girlfriend, and me and my girlfriend, and then. But it was kind of cool because Brianna got to see our old puppies, and Maya got to see our old puppies, which is like so cool.
Evie wasn't too keen on that.
No, Evie was unhappy, but
I completely I didn't even register that they were people she didn't know.
Well,
And
I knew it was
going to
be.
Bring them down.
It's 50-50 because sometimes the mothers are so overwhelmed that it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, she was fine with you were holding the puppies that night, but then
but
the
she
next
knows
day,
Jacob.
Yeah, but the next day she
but
told
she
me
bit
that
him.
she bit him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
She just
bite. She just put her teeth on me.
to remind him that she didn't want him to hold the puppies.
Oh. Today? Yesterday?
Yesterday.
Oh.
Like right after you left.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so she was fine when you were in the
like-
room, but she didn't want you handling the puppies. Was that it?
I handled them a little bit. Like I put them back on her, but the second time I went to, she said no.
Interesting.
Weird. Poor Jacob. He gets the short end of the stick all the time,
Well,
man.
he knows her the least out of all of us.
Yeah.
She would be even worse with Daddy because she doesn't know
yeah.
Daddy hardly at all.
Yeah.
Jacob, she knows a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
And you and I, she knows pretty well.
Yeah, well, we walk with her and do all stuff with her. And I've been on vacation with Evie, so I think I win the best.
Well, I whelped her, so.
I did too.
And the last time I saw her, I had to hold her on her side, which is literally the day before.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
At
her
the
x-ray.
vet, yeah.
That happened with Twiggy, too. We gave her an x-ray and she had puppies the next day.
Yep. Miss them early.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if that's connected. The stress of the vet.
I don't
Or
know.
the stress of coming, like when it's time to go to. She was so ready to, like, she knows our drill of going to bed. But then I told her we're going in the car. And we drove an hour. And she's like, "Why are we here?"
She was happy to go in the whelping room. Open that door, she ran right in there.
But like what that
Relieved.
I was telling you, I was so surprised
I'm in
because
good hands now.
she didn't like get excited about where she was. She just automatically went in the bed and like found a spot to lay down.
Right, she was
The
looking
second
for,
we got
And
there.
as soon as she got comfortable, she had puppies.
Right, so she was looking for some safe space to have them.
Yeah.
Which is, at that stage, if you knew what was going on, you would make her stay in the whelping box so that you could minimize the mess.
Mm-hmm.
They don't love having puppies in the whelping box because it's kind of open, doesn't feel like a den. But you have to sort of break them in, like, no, this is where it's going to happen.
And then once they're broken in, which ironically, once you know the routine, you know when they're going to have puppies, you know like all their body language and stuff, and then you get them used to the whelping box, and it's so easy. Like the last time they have their last litter, it's so easy because they know everything. Then you spam because they're retired, and it's like, oh, we
Once
just
they get
broke
good
them
at it,
in.
yeah.
Now it's retirement time, so it kind of is annoying, but.
I'm so not looking forward to the recovery period after she gets spayed.
It's not bad.
I know, but she's crazy. I'm gonna be paranoid every second that she's gonna rip herself open.
I mean, Twiggy's crazy too, and it was so easy.
She's Evie crazy. How
A different type of energy crazy,
you
but
can always get a little bit
she
of a
throws
sedative.
herself in the trees without a care in the world.
Well, you would just walk her. That's not something you should worry about because it really seems like a lot and then it goes super fast. and you're like, oh, she's recovered already.
All I have to say is if Kita, that
Yeah, right.
yeah, if Kita, so Kita is the Husky Canna Corso that came for training.
She
She's
just
like
got spayed.
Evie times 10. Like she's like super
Really?
high energy. Yeah, she's crazy. But she's a lover girl, and she came for like a day, and she just got spayed, and she was all over the place. And I was like, I hope these stitches don't rip. But if she could be fine, I'm not worried about it.
I think the hardest part with the spaying is not the energy, managing the energy, because you can do that with a leash and a crate. It's, are they fixated on the stitches? That's much harder. Like,
Yeah.
this dog over here, Remy, just ripped every stitch out.
Yep.
I know she's
She
gonna be
also
licking like
Ran
crazy.
through the woods.
And swam.
All right, we're
with
not.
everybody.
All right, we're not going there.
So
We're not going there. Thank you. Pointing out my shortcomings.
I'm also nervous about bringing her back in a month, like with my cat, because I know she'll be
probably still be missing the puppies and want the cat to come and lay with her.
I know she'll be fine, and she'll be so excited to see the cat. But my cat, like a cat, just sits there all day. So for a month long to be sitting there in the house for 24 hours, he's gonna get used to not having her
No,
around again.
she's gonna walk in the house and he's gonna go and like be
Even
so
if she like smells
excited
different though.
to see her.
I just remember it's just bringing me flashbacks because when I had my other cat living with us, his brother, just one day, the brother came back from the vet, and ever since
But
then,
that's
they
cat
were
to cat. It's not cat to dog. It's different.
okay. Good.
I wouldn't worry about it at all.
Nope.
I think the cat is gonna miss her so much. He's gonna be so excited with
I'm
this.
like worried he's gonna start marking on her stuff. That's what happened after Cole left, but they were never really like introduced much.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
This
I don't
puppy
think
was
it will.
laying on Evie's back leg there, and she stretched, and the puppy went flying into the wall.
Damn.
She's like, ah, like she's struggling. Oh, oh, that's the wrong end. You're not getting any milk out of that end.
And then they're gonna squeeze themselves under her back.
Yep, there they go.
No,
And that's
She's
why
a-
we have the pig rail.
That's right. She's gonna
I
squeeze
can
all
see
the way
the
up.
shadow.
Look at her.
The shadow going. She's up there.
She's
Oh,
like,
Edie's
what
like,
are
oh.
you doing?
Hey.
Get out of there. All right. So that was our dramatic 36 hours. We'll give you updates every week on the progression of this litter. I think it's going to be a fantastic litter. I'm super excited. And I love having a 7 puppy litter. That's always fun to have a full litter. Stop walking around. We can hear your clippy toes. And it will be nice weather. It will start to be spring by the time these guys are ready to go outside, which is going to be great. Beginning of
Yeah.
March. And then, they'll be outside for the whole month of March. By the time they leave, it'll be April. Woo!
Yep.
Springtime. Cannot wait.
When is Journey?
Journey's supposed to go into heats in March,
March. Yeah.
but we'll see. Tula should be going into heat any day now.
Her first one.
Yeah, so we're not going to breed her for the first one.
Right.
But
So we'll see if that affects Journey cycle.
Well, actually, if she goes now, do you think her second time will be her next cycle? Like,
Well, possibly, but in my experience, the cycle after a pregnancy is usually delayed by a couple of months.
oh, okay.
So instead of 6 months from
that's good.
beginning to beginning, it's like 8 months or 9 months.
Because I tried to like map it out, and I think normally 6 months after would be when we're in Vegas. When we have to.
Oh,
But
so that's definitely when it will be.
the timing, of course.
it's always
Yes.
going to be the most inconvenient.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. But she
Vegas.
won't be bred. She's not going to do a back-to-back breeding. So she has good timing this time around because puppies will be ready to go April 1st, around there, beginning of April, which is great timing for puppies.
Yeah.
And then if she gets delayed a little bit, by next year when we breed her again, it'll still be good timing. So
It will be. Yeah.
spring letters are
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, so they won't interfere with Vegas then.
No, I
Well,
know.
she'll
I'm
just
just
be in
saying,
heat.
leaving her with
Oh,
her,
the
like
heat.
with like training dogs or whoever you have here, she'll be in heat. It'll just be an extra burden.
Well, hopefully we'll be busy and it will be a burden. That's the problems you want.
Yeah.
Instead of so slow, it's not a burden.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. So we'll keep you informed with this litter as the weeks go on. Next week we'll get back to regular programming. Before we part, how do you feel about this whole guardian dog ownership setup? This is the first dog I've ever had somebody else live with somebody else. I kind of like it. I almost feel like I
I
want
know,
all
you
my
love
bitches
it.
to live with somebody else.
And you don't have to stay with them the night shifts.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is a new cottage industry for me. I would love to get some of my males intact in guardian homes. That would be nice. I don't want them here. It's too much.
But it's not that bad. Mostly because I can just text you whenever I have any questions, and you can't get annoyed because it's your dog still.
I wouldn't get annoyed anyway. But yeah, it's worked out very well. I know a lot of people have had guardian setups that have not gone well. Definitely have to have special people who have the same vision. I think that's the key, that you and I have the same vision of what we want for her. And we have a contract, even though we're good friends. We have a contract, so we both know exactly what our responsibilities are.
Yeah.
Which really does help the situation too. So it's been a good experience so far. I'm not sure your dad would agree. I think it stresses your dad out, but oh well. I
feel like he's trying not to let it stress him out.
He doesn't have the same vision of dogs that we have.
No.
Uh-oh, my camera just clicked out. All right, guys, we should wind this up. Oh my gosh, it's been an hour and 10 minutes. Okay, guys, so that is it for this week of Dog for Thought. We will see everybody next time. Remember to like, subscribe, follow, and recommend our podcast to people who share our vision about dogs. All right, guys, see you next time. Bye. Dog for Thought is written and hosted by me, Sara Brown, co-hosted by Sophie Brown, produced, edited, and original music by Jacob Brown. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.